Thank you.
All right, Steve-O's finished with the copy.
I'm from Jersey. Are you from Jersey? And we're back!
Before I begin, would you like to touch my monkey?
Touch him! Love him! Leave him under Abstinky!
Carol!
Hey, girlfriend! Why does everybody think it's a homo game?
Because I'm not that strong and sweet.
What are you doing here, Devin?
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms, and then I smell them like that.
And I live in a van down by the river.
I sorry I can't help you, but I told you before. Chicken leg lousy hubcap.
That's very wise, canteen boy.
You like it, the Jizz, eh?
Daily.
Sorry.
I brought 2 cans. You like it, a juice?
I like it, a juice.
Welcome back to our cursed fucking podcast.
Sorry, this is take 2. We recorded like 6 minutes of a podcast after 4 months of not recording any podcasts, and then George's computer crashed because he tried to look up Brendan Fraser on Google, and apparently his computer didn't like that. So this is...
Dude, all I did... I just Googled Brendan Fraser, and my computer was like, nah, not today, buddy.
Well, look, I should have told you not to Google Brendan Fraser. That was my fault. But anyway, welcome back.
Well, welcome to Saturday Night Jive. Welcome to Saturday Night Jive, where we talk about Saturday Night Live and Saturday Night Live related movies. To recap the last 6 minutes of our lives, we took some time off because people on the internet messed with my brain when I listened to some podcasts on the other sister, and I didn't want to join in any vile and reprehensible language, even though I don't think we did. I mean, I think we were fine when we talked about the other sister, but I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way. And then, I took a vacation to Italy, and then when I got back, it was around the holidays, and I was like, fuck this, I don't want to have a podcast right now, because what the hell am I going to talk about? I'm just enjoying life.
I feel like we explained this a lot better in the 6-minute previous thing when we weren't trying to rush through it because we don't want to go over it again to nobody because nobody heard that.
I know, yeah. I didn't want to reiterate something I wasn't really interested in talking about in the first place.
But yeah, we recorded 2 podcasts that you haven't heard for The Other Sister, the classic Garry Marshall film about a mentally challenged woman trying to live on her own. And then we also recorded a podcast for White Chicks, the classic Wayans Brothers film about trans rights. And you haven't heard either of those. You may hear those down the line, but I'm suggesting we release this first, which you will maybe then hear us presage on the end of the White Chicks podcast that we're going to do a mango episode. This is the mango episode you're going to hear about then. Sorry for being gone for 4 months.
If you've been waiting with bated breath for our other sister podcast that we teased at the end of our last episode, which I don't even know what it is anymore, you may or may not ever hear it. I will listen to it. If it is anything close to good, I will release it eventually. If not, fuck you.
I mean, I'm totally on board with this, by the way. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily a bad podcast, but if you decide that you don't want it out there, just talking about it like this, it sounds like we were just going full R word the whole time. We weren't. I think we were trying to be very respectful and dignified with it. But
no, and I purposefully so, because like I said, I'll reiterate again. So I watched The Other Sister. I hate it, and I don't know why I picked to watch it. I think I know why I wanted to watch The Other Sister. But then when you watch The Other Sister, it's like, well, no, this isn't what I wanted. And then you're like, well, what did I want? Like, what I thought I wanted is so much worse than what it was, and now I'm questioning why I wanted that in the first place. And then I go online to look like, oh, what are other people saying about The Other Sister? Is there any fun trivia or something? Was Garry Marshall drunk the whole time? I don't know. Looking for stuff. And then I find some other podcasts on The Other Sister, and it's just people using the R word for jokes. And I'm like, well, that's not what I want this podcast to be. And the 1-2 combination of The Other Sister and White Chicks, I didn't enjoy watching either of those films. I didn't enjoy talking about either of those films. And that's happened before in the podcast where, we'll be into it and I'm like, oh, this is like a lost episode. I'm going to tell Ben I lost the tapes. But then I get to editing it and I'm like, oh no, it's not that bad. So, it might just not be that bad, but I didn't have fun doing it.
And I just want to, and I talked about this in the last 6 minutes, but I want to stress that we watched Other Sister and White Chicks, and it was such a demoralizing experience that it caused us to not podcast for 4 months. And now we're going to watch like 12 Mango sketches.
I know. And then we got together at Thanksgiving and Ben's like, when are we going to do the podcast again? And I'm like, somebody's itching for more Mango.
No, again, I wanted to watch Good Burger 2. I have it downloaded on my computer. We can watch it right now. We can give up this whole Mango experiment, take a 2-hour break, watch Good Burger 2, and probably still not enjoy ourselves because this is a bad podcast that we do.
That's towards the end of the year, I start heavily catching up on like movies I missed during the year and then like the stuff that's coming out. And Good Burger 2 has been just on my computer for the longest time where I'm like, there's got to be something else I can watch other than Good Burger 2.
It's the sword of Damocles hanging over both of our heads. But I'm glad you didn't watch it because I want to watch it for the podcast. I feel like it's the only justifiable reason that I have to watch Good Burger 2.
That's true. That's probably why I haven't watched it yet. I'm like, well, this is a podcast movie. We've watched Good Burger 1. We have to see where the story goes from there.
But since we're not doing that today, and because they haven't heard the explanation at the end of White Chicks for what this thing is, explain to the audience what the fuck we're doing today.
Okay, so this is another segment in our award-winning podcast series called And We're Back, where we take a deep dive into an SNL recurring character. And this one has a bit of a caveat to it. We're calling it, How Low Will You Mango? Because the thing with the recurring characters is, we like to keep our podcasts to an hour or so. We also don't want to watch 20 Mango sketches, so we stick to like your Ching Changs, your Mickey the Dykes, the characters who only had like 4 or 5 appearances.
Why did we not want to record for 4 months? I don't understand it.
This is why. Because also, I might not have been as enthused to watch an hour and a half of Mango.
This was your fucking idea. They don't know that because they haven't heard the White Chicks episode. This was your fucking... You were so goddamn excited about it. And I'm fairly certain I was like, I don't know, you sure you want to do that? That's a lot of Mango. And you're like, yeah, we're doing all that Mango.
Well, here's the thing. I like the And We're Backs because, now that we're podcasting remotely, because I live in another city, for only a couple more months, I'm coming back to Columbus in like June or so.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that soon.
Yeah, no, once Rachel graduates. I like the And We're Backs because the thing I miss, recording remotely is kind of, what's the word? Juliette Lewis and the Other Sister. It's a bit Juliette Lewis what we're doing right now.
You can't do that. You can't be like, I don't want our podcast to be all about those R-word things and those jerks that were doing it on those other, and then do that. You can't do that.
I'm just saying, this podcast is a bit Juliette Lewis, is all I'm saying. But anyway, I like the And We're Backs because we watch them together. And that's what the most fun part of the podcast was, because it was a hang, Yeah. Now doing it remotely, sometimes it feels like work. It's like, I gotta watch White Chicks fucking in my bedroom at 6 a.m. and then fucking Skype call and talk about a movie I didn't like watching. But I like the And We're Backs. And Mango is a character that needs to be studied. But here's the caveat to it. It's called How Low Will You Mango? There are, again, an hour and 24 minutes of Mango. Is that what we have loaded up? There are 16 Mango sketches. At any point, we can tap out.
Now, my understanding, I believe we agreed that we both have to agree to tap out. If one of us wants to keep going, we keep going.
Yeah, and I will say I will keep going at least for like the first 6. I want to get to the Danny DeVito one because I think that's the best Mango sketch, and I've already seen all the Mango sketches. There's like 4 at the end where they were just phoning them in. Like Mango takes a big old dip in quality. It wasn't brilliant to begin with, but it really trailed off at the end. So we're not going to be missing anything if we tap out for the last 3 or 4 or 5 or 6.
But that's the idea, is we are not, unlike most And We're Backs, we are not obligating ourselves to watch every Mango sketch, and it is designed to be an endurance test. It's how many Mangos can we watch before we both agree no more Mango.
Exactly. So that's the game we're playing. So, like I said, there are 16 Mango sketches. I only have 14 Mango sketches loaded up. One purposefully, one accidentally. For some reason, the first Mango sketch, which appears in the Brendan Fraser episode, was not online, and I could not track that down. I probably could with more time, but I put this together yesterday, and I'm like, well, if I can't find it easily, I'm fucking forgetting about it.
Not for nothing, you had 4 months.
That's true. Could have gotten on this earlier, I suppose.
Yeah, see, it seemed weird, because I queued it up, and I see fucking Garth Brooks' dopey-ass smiling face. It seemed odd that he would be the first Mango sketch ever.
Yeah, he's in the third one. The second Mango sketch was from the Samuel L. Jackson episode, which we've already watched, because we watched that episode for another episode of this podcast.
Oh, I forgot that. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So to sum up, the first 2 Mango sketches are pretty much exactly the same. The Brendan Fraser one is exactly the same as the Samuel L. Jackson one. Mango does a little dance at the strip club. A guy sees him, falls in love with Mango, only thinks of Mango, becomes obsessed with Mango, meets Mango in his dressing room. Mango gives an impassioned speech that, you can never obtain Mango, and the guy leaves brokenhearted. That's the summation. Brendan Fraser did that. Samuel L. Jackson did that. And now the first Mango sketch we're going to watch, we'll see Garth Brooks do that same fucking thing.
Well, yeah, and I just to preface whatever we're going to get into here, the thing I was going to say looking forward to, that's not the right term. The thing I'm curious about is to what extent this will come off as sort of gay panic in a way that, like, we look back on the 90s, even like my own behavior in the 90s when it comes to that shit, like, it was a bad time that doesn't hold up well. Is this going to be that, or is it going to be... Because that's kind of my memory of Mango, is that it was basically just like, isn't it hilarious that 2 dudes are in love with each other?
Yeah, well, but Mango's never in love with the other guy. Well, kind of, I guess. I don't know. We'll get into it. But, yeah, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking back on all the Mangos, I mean, sexuality is definitely in there, but I don't think that's the whole joke. I don't think it's basically a gay joke. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I won't get into it, but I don't know. Are there any women that ever fall in love with Mango in the way that the men do?
Well, yes, actually there are, but we might not get to those. That's when they were running out of steam.
See, that's where it might get interesting.
What if a lady falls for Mango?
Alright, well, okay, let's not give any further ado. Let's just watch. God damn it, I have it pulled up and I have Garth Brooks' fucking face, and it's just already, I'm like, can we tap out?
I will say, Garth Brooks, very good SNL host. Hosted twice, very fun in both of his SNL appearances.
Is this the Chris Gaines episode?
No. That comes later.
Holy shit, there was a Mango in both fucking Garth Brooks episodes?
Yes, Mango pops up in both Garth Brooks episodes. This is his first hosting appearance from February 28th, 1998. If we stay for a couple more, we'll get to see some Chris Gaines. But that all depends on you.
Okay, let's start this shit.
Alright, here we go. Press
Mango, what is it? Who are you?
I'm Garth Brooks. I'm a country singer, and I don't know why, but I just can't get you out of my head.
Do you think I care? Now get out of my dressing room. Mango has to do Pilates.
But I want to get to know you, Mango.
Can you know the mighty ocean? Can you lasso a star from the sky? Can you say to a rainbow, hey, stop being a rainbow for a second? No, such is Mango.
But I brought you these flowers and these little bath soaps from someplace called Aveda.
You think that impresses me? Look at all these other grips I have. This is a body lotion from Ben Affleck. And this is a poem from the guy who plays Greg from Dharma Greg. Nobody! The Mango need none of these things. Don't get out!
I feel like such a fool. I guess we'll be going.
Yes, that's right. I hate you.
But
no, get out!
Oh, don't tease me that way.
What I don't tease you?
There you go again.
What are you talking about?
There, see?
See what? You're crazy. Get away from me.
All right, and we're back.
Okay, so we all agree we're tapping out?
I could go a couple more. But I'm glad we started with that, and I'm actually glad that the Brendan Fraser episode was not on the internet, and we've already watched Samuel L. Jackson, because that is exactly the same as the other two sketches. I think they get a little more, interesting's not the right word. There's more like, diversions, flourishes, I guess.
Variations on the
evolutions
theme.
in the sketch.
Well, because,
but that was a nice introduction. We got the joke. Mango dances. A guy sees Mango, falls in love with Mango. He goes to see Mango. Mango's like, you can't have it a mango. And the sketch is over. That's the sketch.
I don't have much to say about it. Yes, and it is exactly the structure of Mango that I remember. I'd completely forgotten that we watched one for the Samuel L. Jackson one. The thing that struck me here is, just as that this thing is an artifact of the 90s, what? We're about to watch 13 other Mango sketches. What? Why do people like Mango? Why? Because, it's a microcosm of, also Garth Brooks is there. Why did people like Garth Brooks? Why did people like anything in the 90s?
Well, I mean, I'll stand up for Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks is one of those guys where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't like Garth Brooks. I've never owned a Garth Brooks album. I wouldn't pay to see that fucking Chris Gaines movie that never got made.
He seems like a really cool dude. Like his personal life, he's,
Well, the only familiarity I have with Garth Brooks is through SNL. And like I said, he was a good SNL host. He's been on as a musical guest 2 other times. And every time he's on SNL, I'm like, this is a good time. He writes some good songs. These are toe-tapping. Again, I'm not rushing out to buy the album, but I got nothing against Garth Brooks.
And that's the thing. I'm not saying, he's bad. Or I just, I'm not a country fan, so I don't understand the appeal. But apparently, when all that anti-trans shit was going on with that, what was the lady the trans lady that was drinking the Bud Light and everybody hated her for some reason?
Oh, I don't remember the lady, but I know what you're talking about.
And when he happened to be opening a bar at the time, and, Kid Rock was like, fuck trans people drinking Bud Light. And, Garth Brooks was like, fuck you, I'm gonna serve Bud Light and any trans people are welcome at my bar. It was a cool sentiment, is what it is. So I'm saying
That's good. That was also...
Seems like a good dude, is what I'm saying.
That was also a stupid controversy for so many reasons. What? Am I supposed to feel pride in Bud Light for putting a trans person on a can of beer?
Well, no, that's...
what am I supposed to feel? And then when people get mad about that, I'm like, well, of course they got mad at that.
But that's the thing. I don't think it's reciprocal. The dumb controversy of hatred and outrage that the right wing brings to shit like that doesn't necessarily mean that there is a reverse of you now have to feel like trans people drinking Bud Light is some kind of blow for civil rights. It's not like when they're like, oh, the M&M is too sexy. Feminists had to go, no, the green M&M is a fucking feminist icon. No, it's just on one side and it's dumb.
I don't know, but to talk about this logically and not any other way, and I'm all for trans rights, but when you're like, hey, you big fat beer drinking southern racist rednecks, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put a trans person on your beer, the thing that you love the most. What were they expecting to happen?
Well, I think what they were expecting to happen is that all of them would start jerking off, because all these anti-trans people always end up fucking jerking off to trans porn.
I mean, that's the best case scenario. I mean, I'm sure someone at Anheuser-Busch was like, the only way this can possibly end is fountains and fountains of racist jizz.
Which,
coincidentally,
is what Bud Light is made of, so they get it all back.
Fountains of racist jizz. That's a good band name. All right, anything else about this initial Mango?
The evil Fountains of Wayne? Fountains of racist jizz.
But we get back to Mango. So they're at the wrong strip club. Garth Brooks falls in love with Mango. I didn't laugh at all during this, but I did think the fact that he's reading a book to his daughter while he's dreaming of Mango was like the best gag that they could have put there.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if that was his actual child.
Oh, I doubt it. I'm sure that was some actress. But, like, if you're going to be like, oh, what's the most inappropriate place to dream of Chris Kattan dancing in gold lame short shorts? It's probably when you're reading a bedtime story to your little girl.
By the way, I forgot to mention, I apologize in advance if I come off as distracted in this episode. This is the first episode where I have a new cat, so I'm petting my kitty cat as I record, and I've become a shamelessly lame cat person.
Oh, cats are great, man. I didn't like cats until I got a cat, and I got my dog next to me on the couch. He's sleeping. What else about... there was one other thing I wanted to talk about with Mango. Just a little bit of Mango minutia. When Garth Brooks meets Mango in his dressing room, Mango brings out other love letters from other celebrities, and one of them is Ben Affleck, who, if we make it to sketch number 11, we'll see Ben Affleck fall for Mango. So that joke became proficient.
Prophetic. Is there a sketch?
Prophetic, yeah.
Sketch number 11. You know, we keep saying we're going to tap out. I might fucking kill myself before the end of this podcast. But no, the other
love letter he got was from the guy who played Greg from Dharma and Greg, which didn't he have a weird, like, there was like a hot tub video of that guy? Like,
no, what was, he fucking freaked out. Because that guy went on to play Hotch on Criminal Minds. And I know his name because I watched Criminal Minds. But he got fired.
Wait, but what's the actor's name?
I don't actually know the actor's name. I've always called him Greg from Dharma and Greg.
We only know him as Greg from Dharma and Greg.
And Hotch. Something Hotchner, I believe, is his last name on that show. But he got fired, I think, in like season 6 or 7 or something, because he freaked out on a director and like kicked him, like physically assaulted him. Because I don't know why, I don't remember the altercation, but yeah, they did like, and this was like around the time of like Me Too and everything, so they were just cracking down on like any unsafe work environment shit. And so it's the kind of thing that like probably would have gotten away with, but not that year.
Oh, I remember there was a video of him in a hot tub, like, and I think he was talking to like an underage girl on the internet or something, but I may be conflating two things.
I think you're thinking of the guy from Seventh Heaven.
No, it's definitely not him. I'm pretty sure. Okay, let me Google Greg from Dharma and Greg.
Okay, no. The last time you opened Google Chrome, it crashed your Skype. We can live with mystery.
All right, well, whatever happened to Greg from Dharma and Greg will have to remain a mystery. Whatever happened to Mango? Well, that's a question we can answer right goddamn now.
I do want to say one other thing about Mango, and this is just kind of what I'm anticipating going forward based on the performance in this sketch. I don't think Chris Kattan writes anything for Mango. I think it's all improv. Like, when he's saying, I mean, like, if there's a prop that's needed, sure, like the Ben Affleck joke, but, like, there was a line where he's like, nobody. And then it's like, wasn't the catch for the line. And it was like, I think he's just like, I know I'm gonna be Mango, and nothing really matters because it's Mango. And I'm just curious if that's the sense I'm gonna get going forward.
No, he's probably a little loose with the cue cards, but I would be pretty surprised if they just let him do crazy make-em-ups on stage. They're not too into that, especially at this time.
Well, because I feel like they just all recognize and acknowledge that there's not enough to Mango to care if there's a structure.
Also, and then going back to what we talked about before we even watched that, I didn't get any kind of ickiness from that at all, because I don't think the joke was about homosexuality at all. Garth isn't attracted to men. Garth is just consumed with Mango, and I think that's the joke that's going to go forth. You know, I don't think they ever get into. I don't even think they ever get into like. I mean, well, nobody ever fucks Mango. Like, Mango's never riding somebody's cock or something, so they never get that deep into it. But I don't think they even. I'll be surprised if they ever brush on any kind of actual homosexuality.
Well, I would argue the very beginning of the sketch did have a gay panicky vibe. You have the 3 guys, Garth Brooks and his 2, I guess, roadies or whatever, and they're at the place, and they're like, oh, I think we might be in the wrong place. And then when Mango comes out, I think it's Will Ferrell is like, that dude looks like a dude. So like,
yeah, he's like, that guy's a dude.
Yeah, so like there is a little bit of it, but thankfully the sketch doesn't cling to that. It doesn't go any more with that. So I feel like, it's a testament to like restraint in this day and age.
Yeah, and they weren't overly offended that they were watching male strippers. They were just like, oh, we are in the wrong establishment, let us leave.
It wasn't like, we all got erections and we're ashamed of them.
Yeah, right. They're not spitting out their drink or anything, so it's nicely handled. And like I said, I don't think the joke of Mango is that it's a gay thing. The joke of Mango is just Mango will consume your every thought.
He is a sexual force of nature, but it's a kind of sexuality that burns too bright. You would never actually experience it beyond the fantasy.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're in love with Mango, you're not gay, you're not straight, you're in love with Mango.
You're just a human being with a heart and soul. Is all.
Exactly. You're pumping blood to that mighty organ between your legs, and that organ wants one thing and one thing only. Alright, so on that note, do you want to watch David Duchovny fall in love with Mango?
No, but we're going to anyway, so fuck it.
Alright, from May 9th, 1998, here's David Duchovny and Mango.
What are you guys doing? He jumped. It was horrible. What are you doing? Somebody's got to save him.
Hey, aren't you David Duchovny? Yeah. You're a true hero.
Thanks. Hey, fella. How you feeling?
Why did you do it? Why did you save me?
Everything's gonna be all right, buddy. Let's move him. Hey, wait a minute. I didn't even get your name.
My name is Mango. And I miss you. Let's move him out of here. Let's move him. I don't feel so good.
Mr. Duchovny, we're going to have to get a statement from you.
My Mango.
Alright, and we're back.
Okay.
I didn't hate that one.
Well, okay, because you mentioned like there's going to be more variation in the sketches, and at first I was like, oh, okay, it's like a different setup. He's saving his life from jumping off a bridge. That's something. But then it just becomes Mango again.
Yeah, no, it started off in a direction where you're like, ooh, okay, and then you're like, oh wait, no, it's the same sketch I just saw, just with David Duchovny dreaming about Mango instead of Garth Brooks. But I maybe it's because David Duchovny's a better actor than Garth Brooks too. I loved when we get the iterations of David Duchovny dreaming about Mango. I love David's frustration when he's called out for dreaming of Mango. He's with his lady Molly Shannon, and she's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Get off my back! Stop henpecking me!" And then
I will hurt you.
Fucking Matt Lauer.
Which I wish I could have laughed at that joke, but I can't because it's Matt Lauer.
I got a little bit of a kick when I saw fucking Matt Lauer. And you gotta admit. So, Matt Lauer's interviewing David Duchovny. David Duchovny dreams about Mango, storms off the set. Matt Lauer's staying there by himself. He's like, what's going on? And then Matt Lauer dreams of a dancing Al Roker. That was classic.
No, I would have laughed hysterically at that sketch, except that would require me to think of Matt Lauer as a sexual being, and I can't do that anymore.
You're not thinking of Matt Lauer as a sexual being. You're thinking of Al Roker as a sexual being.
See, no, I'm thinking, what's Matt Lauer going to do when he gets Al Roker? Is he going to trap him in his office? He's going to lock that motherfucker in his office. You push that button that locks the door?
He's going to push the Roker button, and Roker's pants are just going to fall off. He's like, yeah, I had the guys rig this up. When it got to the beats of the Mango sketch, that's when I was kind of like, all right, we got this. But then we get a random-ass John Goodman cameo.
Back off, Duchovny!
Don't fight over me!
I've tried for years to get a little piece of that Mango, that hippie little bitch. You're better off leaving and never looking back.
Why? Why can't we have...
Can you paint the stars in the sky? Can you tell the thunder to be quiet? Can you take a rainbow and put it... Well, you know what I'm saying, right? Such as Mango.
I think I get it.
Which, my thought with that is, I remember, I don't know if it was around this time or maybe a little later, like, he hit a record for, like, appearances on the, he may very well still hold it, I don't know, for, like, most appearances.
Baldwin beat his host. Well, he never held the record because he never tied Steve Martin, and then Baldwin beat Steve Martin.
See, for hosting, but I thought if you count, like, guest appearances, like his Linda Tripp and stuff like that.
Baldwin might have him on there too because he spent like 4 years as Trump.
Well, but I think this was, I would say prior to Trump, I think John Goodman held the record for most appearances from a non.
I wouldn't be surprised if during the Linda Tripp years if John Goodman held the record for most times being on SNL without being a cast member. And I don't know why. Maybe they had a Linda Tripp sketch in this episode, but
because when I saw this sketch, I was thinking like. That record is tainted because at least one of those appearances is a random Mango sketch.
They still count that. There's no asterisk for being in Mango.
I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm just saying it sullies the rest of them. It's like it pollutes the purity of the rest of those John Goodman performances.
That was weird. Well, the audience reacted as if it was the first time they saw him. So, but like around this time, he did just live at Studio 8H. Like, it would just be, there's John Goodman just walking around in the background of a fucking sketch.
What was you mentioned Studio 8H, what was the fake studio in the Aaron Sorkin show?
Studio 60?
Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. That was a terrible show. R.I.P. Matthew Perry, you sucked.
Never watched a damn second of it.
I'm surprised you never watched it, because you're a fucking SNL head, and that's I would say love letter to SNL, but it's a love letter to SNL written by somebody who doesn't understand sketch comedy at all. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Everything I've seen from that show, I was like, nope, this is not for me. Speaking of not for me...
Mango?
Mango! Would you like to see David Spade get in on the Mango action?
Once again, I say absolutely not, but we're still doing this, so sure.
Well, we gotta at least get to the next Garth Brooks one. And then after Garth Brooks is Danny DeVito, which I think the Danny DeVito one is, if they ended Mango with that one, I'm like, that's all the Mango we needed. But then, like I said, they kept going for 6 more appearances. But this is a variation because, spoiler alert, David Spade does not fall in love with Mango.
I think I'm remembering something, the Danny DeVito one. Was he, like, he's also a Mango, isn't he?
He plays Mango's father in a flashback, yes.
Okay, because I remember Danny DeVito in Little Sparkly Hot Pants. It's been burned into my memories for several decades now, in fact.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, that's the main reason I wanted to do this, is because I actually do like Danny DeVito as Mango's father. I will say, I don't remember liking this sketch. This is the 5th Mango from November 7th, 1998, from the David Spade hosted episode. If memory serves me correct, this is when I was like, okay, they need to stop fucking doing Mango.
You weren't already there somehow.
I got some laughs from the David Duchovny one. But alright, are you ready for David Spade?
Yeah, I guess.
Alright, push and play.
For you. My name is Kiwi.
Well, save the sweet talk, missy. I am the big cheese around here.
Is that what that smell is?
Okay, I get the joke. Wait a minute, that's not nice at all. Get out of here, this is my bedroom.
Mango, Kiwi, shut up.
Age before beauty.
What? No.
Alright, and we're back. Yeah, I didn't like that.
I mean, you know what? I didn't like it, but I think I respected it.
You did. I will say, to summarize that one, Mango is not the only exotic dancer at Beefcakes anymore. He's now been joined by Kiwi, played by David Spade, and Kiwi starts hypnotizing all the men, causing insane jealousy in Mango, but then they decide to team up at the end and drive off Thelma and Louise style for some random reason.
Yeah, no, it wasn't funny at all. But just, again, we can talk about, like, there's going to be a little more variation than the typical sketch, and I doubted you. But watching that, like, it's Pat never introduced, like, like a rival like Tilda Swinton hosted that week, and, like, I'm also androgynous, but an asshole. Or a bigger asshole, because
I will-
it's just Pat is also an asshole.
I'll give it that. It was a complete 180 from all the other Mango sketches. It didn't follow the same, it had some of the recognizable beats, but it was a different through line. But yeah, it didn't work for me. But this is also one of those things that we've talked about before with recurring characters. There is always one moment in the lifespan of any SNL recurring character where the host comes in and is like, I'll be Mango as well.
Yeah, but it wasn't just Mango. It was like, because the whole thing with Mango is he's put up on this pedestal and puts himself up on this pedestal. He is so self-aware about his unattainableness. He's the one who gives the speech every time about, can you put a rainbow in a bottle or whatever the fuck. So here you put him at a disadvantage. You have somebody else taking his power away from him, placing him, in this sort of, underdog role. I mean, that's, again, it didn't make for a funny sketch, but that's interesting. Like, if I were writing the Mango movie, like, that's probably where I would start. Like, somebody takes Mango's thunder.
Yeah, I think that's your second act.
I mean, I'm not saying I want to
movie.
write the Mango movie or there should be a Mango movie or we should pitch it, but I'm just saying, if we were, I feel like there's material to mine. Not funny material.
It did give different sides of Mango. We got to see Mango out in the real world. I liked when he went to buy a newspaper from Tracy Morgan, but then Tracy Morgan is dreaming about Kiwi, and then somehow Mango sees that, like he can see the little bubble with David Spade dancing, and he gets all upset. I thought the trip to the dentist could have been funnier. Like, I thought that was a wasted thing. I laughed like really hard when they established that, because you know what's going to happen. Mango's sitting in a dentist chair. Will Ferrell's got the thing up to his mouth, and you're like, okay, well, Will Ferrell's going to start dreaming about Kiwi. But then that was it. That was the whole joke. Like, I thought it would be better if he was like open heart surgery or something, and Mango gets up out of the thing.
But I also just like the idea of turning because that's the thing, I don't think we mentioned it yet. He has this sort of very deliberate, like, hypnotic, like, hand gesture thing where he gets right in the face of the person that he's stupefying with his mango-ness. And it's like almost like a spell that he's putting him on. And they both have that. And they both start using it against each other, and then they both develop the little bubbles with each other in them as they're falling in love with each other, and that's the end of the sketch. They become Thelma and Louise. Which, again, I want to stress, not funny at all, but an interesting twist on a formula that I gotta say, I thought I'd be sick of it by now. I don't think I am.
Yeah, but that Thelma and Louise ending left me stupefied. What the fuck? What? Like, they didn't even drive off the cliff like at the end of Thelma and Louise.
No, because I guess they don't want to kill the character. They don't want to, like, end Mango right away. Everybody loves Mango.
You think someone would be writing on the SNL message boards? Canonically, Mango died in the Kiwi sketch.
I mean, how are you going to explain it when he just comes back?
David Duchovny rescues him from the rubble.
Yeah, but if David Duchovny rescues Mango twice, I think he owes him a hand job.
I think that's in the contract.
Now, okay, going through that, we didn't say that Mango never has sex with these men. Is that going to change? Do you think he ever fucks anybody?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but I believe in the next Mango sketch, we get a little hint of Mango's sexuality.
Oh, okay, but then I'm legitimately intrigued.
Yes, if memory serves me correct, we do see more of Mango's personal life in this next sketch. It's not all just set at beefcakes. Anything else to say about the David Spade one? David Spade let me down. I didn't get any fun watching him do it.
I was trying to remember what year was this? What was he? Was this Lost and Found? What was he advertising?
Yeah, and probably just, coming back. Oh, well, he was also on Just Shoot Me.
Oh, I guess, yeah. But yeah, this also had Chris Rock and Tim Meadows in it. I guess just hanging out with their friend.
Yeah, well, Tim Meadows was still on the show, but yeah, Chris Rock was a cameo.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, Tim Meadows was on the show for way longer than he should have been. There was one other thing, but now my phone won't lock. I made a note of it. And the only other thing I laughed at in this was when Kiwi comes back to Beefcakes, he's followed by the traditional gaggle of men that, usually follow Mango. And then when Mango walks in, there's just one homeless man out there going, Mango! It was a very subtle joke, but it tickled me. Kiwi has all the men now, but there's just still one random homeless guy who's like, Mango!
Oh, that's another weird thing I didn't notice. I didn't pick up on it until this sketch. This is it's a male strip club, but it's not a gay strip club. Most of the audience is women, but all of his fans are men.
It's just an exotic dance club, I think. So, yeah, maybe there's people of all genders.
Well, because I thought it was interesting, because in the David Duchovny sketch, Anna Gasteyer as the nurse has not fallen under Mango's spell. And I thought that was a thing, like, it's only really, like, a thing that hits men, and she's a woman, so Mango does not appeal to her. But...
Well, does everyone... Well, do you just fall under Mango's spell, or do you have to be put under Mango's spell? I think Mango has to put the spell on you. Because, like, Horatio Sands, like, is just the guy, like, the manager of the club, but he is not chasing after Mango like everyone else is.
Yeah, that's right. So now I think he has to put the whammy on you.
Yeah, no, you get hypnotized by Mango. It's not just like, Mango sucks you into his orbit if you're just hanging around.
See, I think that makes more sense. It makes more sense but then, why is he so reluctant? Because if he's deliberately putting these people under his sway, but I guess he's also feigning reluctance, because every time he, like, reaches back and, like, what is that about? Is that...
I think deep down Mango wants love. But there's just something holding Mango back, where he just doesn't feel like maybe he's worthy of that love. Maybe he thinks he has a higher calling in the exotic dance, and if he falls in love, it will, sidetrack those goals.
Maybe it's like a Samson thing. Like, he falls in love, he loses his powers.
Right, or like the Santa Claus, like he has to be Santa Claus.
Or somebody has to
fucking whores.
Somebody has to kill Mango to become Mango.
Oh, yeah. We might not get to that one, but yeah, that's how it ends. Spoiler alert.
But yeah, that's all I have.
All right.
I don't know if we're going to get more to the lore and mythology of Mango in the next sketch.
I believe we will. This is from May 8th, 1999. The episode hosted by Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, jeez. We had Matt Lauer, and now we have Cuba Gooding Jr.
I know. Well, if you're watching SNL in the 90s, you're gonna hit some landmines. All right, I'm pushing play.
Boy, I'm so happy to be back home. I'm never going to Hollywood again.
Daddy, you like tag with me?
In a minute, Bobby, okay? I'm smoking the pipe. Thank you. Oh, everybody wants a little mango. Hello? Mango, I love you. I can't live without you.
Mango? Honey, what's going on here?
What? Wait a minute. Who's this?
I'm Mrs. Mango, that's who I am.
But I thought, You thought what? That I was what? A homo gay? No! Mango is as straight as they come! Now get out of my normal suburban home! Everybody in Hollywood is crazy, I swear!
Right, and we're back. So, we learned some things about Mango?
Yeah, and again...
Is everything clear, or are you more confused?
Expansion of the lore. He's got a family. He's not a homosexual. I didn't assume he was a homosexual. But, and that bordered on, gay panic. Because the joke is that he's obviously gay, but he's not gay.
Yeah, I didn't like that was basically the punchline. So to summarize this one, Mango is auditioning for a movie starring Cuba Gooding Jr., During the audition, Mango dances, hypnotizes Cuba, and then eventually Cuba follows Mango, or tracks down Mango's home, where Mango has a wife, a child, and a newborn baby. But yeah, that's basically the punchline of the sketch is like, oh, Mango was a normal family guy all along. And I don't know, yeah, it didn't sit well with me.
And because when I think of... I'm trying to bring something to this that isn't there, because it's not a funny sketch. But to think of, like, where the joke comes from, I feel like you have to go like Lovecraftian with it. He is an entity unto himself, where gender norms and sexuality simply don't apply to him. He's got to I think that almost there has to be like an it's Pat question of like, well, what are you? Are you gay, straight, whatever? And he's like, no, I'm Mango. And like then he does his weird hypnotism thing to like a tree, and then the tree starts fantasizing about Mango. It's like, that's just what I am. I am sex personified. I am not personally sexual. I am merely sexuality itself.
Yeah, no, because it got into a little gay panic there at the end too, when Mango was like,
he sounds homophobic.
Was a homo gay. Yeah, he's not only a straight man, but he's also homophobic, which makes no sense. Unless it's a curse. Mango is just cursed with this, and he's hypnotizing people unwillingly and accidentally.
Well, but again, we've established it feels like it's a deliberate thing he has to do, because not everybody falls in love with Mango. It's only the people he puts the whammy on.
He has to know his powers, and he has to know how he can control those powers. Because it's not just, it is a little bedlam, because all the men are always chasing him. So maybe he can't control it somehow.
Well, but I think he can, but he expresses reluctance. I think he's like the Johnny Appleseed of gay sexual attraction. he travels the world, leaving it everywhere. It's a deliberate thing he does, but it's also a compulsion. He can't not do it.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. I did like I liked Cuba Gooding Jr.'s performance in this, and I like that.
I didn't, because I remember that he was Me Too'd, and in this he's Me Too'ing all over the place.
It was a little uncomfortable watching him, aggressively romance Mango. But when he did his little striptease and then he pulled down his pants, shoved his bare ass right in Chris Kattan's face on live television, I was like, respect, my man.
Do you think that wasn't planned? Do you think that was just him doing his thing?
I think that was a little slip on live television. I don't think that happened in dress rehearsal. I'm imagining Cuba Gooding was like, all right, during the live show, I'm actually going to slip him down and show him my butt.
I mean, I will give it to him. I don't want to give him anything. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Oh, he's a good partner for Mango. That's all I can say about him.
But yeah, and then Mango's kid also is shirtless and wears spangled pants.
I did love that Molly Shannon came in holding a baby that had Mango's haircut.
That made me think, how many Mr. Peepers sketches are there, do you think?
Oh, at least like 13 or 14.
Because I feel like that's gotta be the next one, right?
Yeah, Peepers went on way too fucking long.
Is the next episode of this How Many We Peepin'?
I think we'll have to, because he's also got the Roxbury guys too, which had like 17 or 18. So yeah, Chris Kattan is a fountain of characters that far outstayed their welcome.
Well, because if you think of all three of those characters, they're like one joke, and it's not even really, it's a joke, but it's like a physical performance more than anything. It's not like, even like It's Pat, it's at least a conceptual thing, and a performance and a character. Mango is just, flailing around and being silly. And the same with even more so with Mr. Peepers, and I would say to the same extent with the Roxbury guys.
Yeah, but for some reason, Mango's dancing isn't as, impressive as I guess I would like. Because if you watch those Mr. Peepers sketches, Chris Kattan is just, flailing his body in, ways that no man has ever done. But here, it's just always kind of the same thing, and it's not athletic at all. I'm just saying, I'm not getting turned on by Mango, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, I am at half-mast at best. Yeah. But it's just, but I thought that was kind of the joke, that he also kind of was shitty.
Oh, you think so?
Because, I assume Chris Kattan could dance better than that if he tried. I've seen him dance better than this. So, yeah, I'm assuming that particular style of dancing is kind of, meant to be bad on purpose.
Okay, all right, I guess I can see that. Anything else about the Cuba one?
I did like at the beginning Jimmy Fallon is auditioning, and in context of the sketch, he also sucks.
That was fun, and he's playing himself. Chris Parnell's like, sorry, it was a favor for a friend.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fallon.
All right, it's all good.
Hey. Nice. Whew. Sorry about that. Favor for a friend.
Jimmy Fallon sucks in the SNL universe. I do enjoy that. All right, anything else before we get to Dermot McDillon? Who's coming up next?
Is it Dermot Mulroney or is
it's Dylan McDermott.
Dylan McDermott. Okay, it's the practice guy.
Yes. All right. So now we're traveling forth because after this is Garth Brooks. After Garth Brooks is Danny DeVito. So that's where I'm probably going to tap out unless something happens and we decide to watch the last hour of this.
I mean, I feel like I sound like I'm defending these more than I actually am or should be, because just the prospect of 3 more of them it's really just getting to me.
Well, one is a monologue. Mango makes an appearance in the Garth Brooks monologue, and then later in a sketch. So I guess that actually makes it worse because it's double.
No, it's twice. That's not good.
All right. Well, I can't remember this one. The Dylan McDermott episode escapes me. I can't recall a single thing that happened in it. It must not have been a memorable episode. But are you ready to watch it?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Press and play.
Mango?
No! Get away! Mango wants to be alone! Ow!
Careful. My name is Stone Johnson. I'm a cop.
Oh!
I was sent here to protect you, but I need your help. I need to go undercover as you, the Mango. In order to do that, I must become you. Breathe, eat, sleep. Nothing but Mango. Find out what makes you tick.
Can you ask God what makes the heavens tick? Can you take a shovel and dig a hole in the sky? Can you say to a babbling brook, hey, stop babbling for a second? No! Okay, I'll help.
Good. Let's get to work.
And we're back. First, let's talk about Mango. And then if you want, we could talk about Jim Gray. But I can't remember any.
I want to talk about Rudy Giuliani for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. We'll definitely talk about that. I enjoyed that one. I legitimately...
Oh, no, that was the best one so far.
That was definitely the best one so far. It had a lot of nice moments. It had a story, like a news story. It wasn't the same thing. I actually enjoyed that. The first note I did take, and I never noticed this before until you pointed it out a little bit ago, Beefcakes is full of women. It is not a gay nightclub. So do Mango's powers just not work on women?
Well, you said that he falls in love, that a woman falls in love with him later on in these sketches, if we ever see them.
Well, it's Ellen DeGeneres, so I mean, who knows what that means?
I don't want to broach that necessarily.
That's like
like I said, we may not even watch that sketch.
Yeah, that's the 15th Mango sketch, which we may not get to. But
which fucking holy shit, though. Okay, so we had fucking Matt Lauer, we had Cuba Gooding Jr., we have Rudy Giuliani in this, now we have Ellen DeGeneres. This is just a cavalcade of lost Me Too'd stars.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you know what? Sometimes that's what's the most fun about watching an old-ass SNL episode, when you're like, oh, whoops. It puts you right in like a little time capsule. I want to talk about the actual sketch itself, because I thought this was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's basically, I don't know if you ever saw Human Target. There were several iterations of it. It's a TV show based on a DC comic. They did one a couple years ago. They did one in the 80s with Rick Springfield, I think, where he was a secret agent who would always pose as whoever he was protecting. He was a master of disguise in order to rout out whoever was hunting them. So that's what Dylan McDermott is in this sketch.
Yes, we start with Mango doing his little beefcakes dance, and then he gets shot in the butt, and Dylan McDermott has to be his bodyguard. But he's going to go undercover as Mango, so he has to learn everything about Mango and become him. So we get this lovely little training montage where Mango is teaching Dylan McDermott the ways of the Mango. And it just struck me, as just a fan of SNL, that they don't do this anymore. I appreciated the epicness of this sketch, where it had set changes, and all of these actually do. They go through various sets. There's costume changes. That's why they have the little filmed bits to cover those up. But, if you watch the show now, they have pre-filmed sketches and then they have live sketches. And all their live sketches are just in one singular set. Sometimes, just in front of a green screen where they're looking right at the camera. The show was much better directed, and had, it would do some of these more lofty things. It gives it kind of a Monty Python feel too, how, Monty Python, they would be in the studio and then they would leave the studio and they would be on film. I just appreciated that. You go live, then you got the pre-recorded training montage, and then you go back to another live set. It was nice to watch.
No, I absolutely agree. And I can't speak to brand new SNL. I haven't watched the last couple seasons, but it feels like also they're all in one room and they're all stolen from YouTube. It seems like every other week I read an article oh, this other sketch was stolen from a fucking YouTube show.
Yeah, every live sketch on SNL now is just people sitting on a couch talking to each other, and then a week later you see on YouTube, hey, SNL stole my sketch.
Which I guess you had the Jay Moore one back in the day, but that almost never happened. They took it seriously when it happened back then.
It's weird because, man, there's been a couple there. Yeah, there's one every season where it's and it'll be the exact same thing. It's not just some guy's bit oh, hey, I'd made a joke about a guy in short shorts and then SNL did Mango. No, it's this is a fucking video, a recorded sketch that someone put online, and then SNL is doing the exact same fucking sketch.
Meanwhile, back in the day when SNL was still good, we got 16 Mango sketches.
When they couldn't come up with a new idea back in the 90s, they just threw Mango on. We need to get back to the glory days.
As much as I did like this sketch relative to the other ones, it did make me think, not that I even think that you would hate it, but when they cut to Tim Meadows is in this one as well. He's the police chief, and he looks off and is in love with Mango. And I was just thinking, whenever they have recurring sketches like this, I wonder how often it happens where the people in them that aren't the Mango, they aren't the main person in the recurring sketch. Fucking hate doing it. I was just wondering, if again, I didn't get the sense of it, but I was just thinking, what if Tim Meadows fucking hated Mango? It's really? You need me in the fucking Mango sketch? I need to do the Mango thing? I wonder how often that happens where they're just forced to do it just because they need another person.
I don't know. I've never heard any cast members talk about that, animosity of being in someone's sketch. Every time you hear SNL cast members talk, it's always fighting for airtime. So it's oh, you need 2 lines in this sketch. Yeah, I'll take those 2 lines. You never hear of anyone going fuck, I don't want to talk to the Richmeister this week. Can I do something? I think most of the time it's just oh, I'm in this sketch. Cool. I just
Well, because the other thing that made me think of that is there was a Norm Macdonald reference in this sketch.
That got groans from the audience. That was great.
Get well soon. Love, Brad Pitt. Oh, this thing. Sorry you got shot. Nick Cage. Oh, here's one. I will always cherish our time together. You will always be in my heart. Love, Norm Macdonald. Who is that?
Was this after he left?
Yes, this was post Norm's firing. And so Mango is recuperating from his gunshot wound, and he's reading letters from Brad Pitt and Ben Affleck, I think, or somebody. And then the third one is from Norm Macdonald, and he goes, who the hell is that? And then you can hear somebody in the audience go, oh! Because people still love fucking Norm.
And I still love Norm. May you rest in peace. But, because my understanding is, I don't think that was a loving thing. My understanding is they were not friends.
After Norm died, Chris Kattan came out and said it was all in good fun, but before Norm died, unless it was some kind of Andy Kaufman gag where they're let's pretend to hate each other in the media, I always got the sense that these guys did not like each other. But then
there's the famous Jim Breuer story. In that movie? Oh, well.
You remember that direct-to-DVD movie we watched starring Chris Kattan that had Norm Macdonald in it?
Are you forgetting the name of Hollywood and Wine?
Well, it was called something else on the...
Oh, was it?
I think that was the DVD title, but then it was it was Hollywood land or something. I don't know. But yeah, no, they were in that movie. So maybe they did have a respect for each other. I don't know. It's an odd relationship.
Because I was thinking of that Jim Brewer story about the Twilight Zone sketch, which I'm sure we've talked about before on the podcast. But like, I wonder, like, was that? I always took that as Norm not liking Chris Kattan, reluctantly being in that sketch because he was the only one that could pull off a Rod Serling impression, and then fucking with him.
Yeah, well,
rather than they're good friends fucking around with each other.
And from all I've heard from Norm is like Norm didn't like being in sketches. Like when he got the Bob Dole job, he was like, oh, "Shit, like I don't want to be Bob Dole every fucking week, sit in a makeup chair and shit." So he would purposely tell people like, you know, he wasn't in sketches a lot. When he obviously wrote them. But yeah, I could definitely see if Norm Macdonald was in a Mango sketch. I don't think Chris Kattan would ever let that happen. I doubt he would be like, "Hey, Norm, you want to be the guy I hypnotized this week?"
It would be the best one.
Oh my God, that would have been great. But yeah, I don't think that would have been a conversation that happened. "Hey, Norm, I wrote you in a sketch. You're going to stare at my ass." What else we got? So also on the sketch, so after the training montage, Dylan McDermott now has become the Mango, and he seems to be enjoying being the new Mango. And then the assassin from the beginning of the sketch comes in, shoots at new Mango. Real Mango dodges in front of the bullet, gets the other half of his butt shot, and we find out that the assassin was Mayor Rudolph Giuliani.
But he's not sexually obsessed with Mango, as you would assume he would be based on everything we now know about Rudy Giuliani. He's trying to clean up the streets of filth, which has no bearing on our conception of Rudy Giuliani today.
I know. It would have been a better joke if Rudy Giuliani was a scorned lover of Mango.
I assumed it was going to be like a Mark David Chapman sort of thing.
I want to become you.
Yeah.
It would have been nice maybe if, Rudy Giuliani opens up the trench coat and he's wearing the gold shorts too.
Because, I think that was a joke even then, that he, really loved to dress up as a lady.
Oh, he cross-dressed.
Despite being a right-wing conservative.
Yeah, no, he cross-dressed on the show before this. That would have predated this. But yeah, when he was mayor of New York, he did drag on SNL.
So yeah, I mean, I guess his reputation of being a pervert and a probably rapist, I think, he's got to be on the fucking Epstein list, right? I didn't see that shit, but I feel like he's got to be on it.
I didn't look at the Epstein list, but I imagine his name is circled and underlined.
I mean, I know some football guy just got in trouble for saying I'm pretty sure Jimmy Kimm was on that list, but I don't feel like I feel like I'm perfectly safe suggesting that Rudy Giuliani probably fucked underage girls on Epstein's island.
I know. I think that's just in his Wikipedia bio at this point.
That's the shit he admits to, because everything else is even more corrupt.
Right. What'd they find out about me? Oh, the Epstein stuff? Whew! Dodged a bullet there, Rudy.
But they'll never know why I'm constantly melting.
Alright, so, and then it ends in a bodyguard spoof, which was fun. I also enjoyed that Dylan McDermott carried Mango off of the set and through the audience, but then that was just to lead into the Jim Gray thing, which, again, is just lost in time for any kind of context.
And I do want to just say, I've always felt that Dylan McDermott was an underrated actor. Especially in, comic performances.
I said I didn't remember anything about his episode, but I think I might check it out, because he was cracking me the fuck up in this. He was perfectly straight at the beginning, and then when he came in and was like, I need to know every part of you, Mango. I need to become you. I loved how fucking Peter Graves his delivery was. And then when he became Mango, it was just such a drastic transition from that made it even more fun, that you got to see two vastly different sides of him.
Do you watch American Horror Story at all?
I watched a couple seasons, but yeah, the first season I watched.
And I always thought he was really good in that. And he came back in a later season as the weirdest fucking serial killer. He's a serial killer obsessed with breast milk. He was hiring lactating prostitutes to suck on their nipples. Yeah, and it was just but it's Dylan McDermott, this handsome dude.
Yeah, I missed that season.
Well, it's fucking American Horror Story. It's always fucked up. But I've always thought he was a really underrated actor. I always enjoy him and shit.
Yeah, I can't speak to him much, but I enjoyed him. Okay. And that's been, except for David Spade, I think everyone we watched has been has been committed to this Mango sketch. I thought Garth Brooks did a good job. David Duchovny was funny, and Cuba Gooding Jr. was funny.
I mean, again, I couldn't laugh at Cuba Gooding Jr.'s performance because of everything I know about him now, but for what it is, I mean, I get why if that wasn't occupying your mind, that would have been a funny performance. David Duchovny, I don't know how he has a career. He's not good.
No, he's not good, but I liked him when he was screaming about Mango.
But he was funny because he's bad.
That's true. All right, so anything else about Dermot McDermott before we get to Garth Brooks again?
You mean Dermot Mulroney?
Dermot Mulroney. All right, so this next one, we'll watch both of these back to back because Mango appears in Garth Brooks' monologue, and then he appears in a sketchlet, a skit, I suppose, after Chris Gaines performs, and I put them back to back so we can watch them in one chunk.
Okay.
From November 13th, 1999, Mr. Garth Brooks.
Man, I remember that. But then I'll admit, man, I was pretty messed up over you, but I'm okay now, man. I mean, like, I'm in therapy, you know, and I've asked my wife to stop wearing the Mango mask. Mm-hmm. And, hey, I'm back hosting Saturday Night Jive.
Oh, that's congratulations,
Sam. So that's nice. Thanks for lifting the restraining order.
Oh, no problem.
But I swear this time, total professional. That's how it's going to be.
Great. Okay. Awesome. Well, then I guess everything's cool.
Yeah.
So, do you know where Chris Gaines' dressing room is by chance?
Chris Gaines? Why, yeah, it's down the hall. Why?
No reason. Chris Gaines!
Who the hell are you?
My name is Mango. Chris Gaines, I am your biggest fan.
Well, thank you, but right now, the Chris Gaines wants to be alone, so buzz off.
But you don't understand. I must have you.
Have Chris Gaines? Can a rainbow be brought over for dinner? Can you make out with an ocean? Can you take a broken heart and dress it up in a wig and a goatee and call it Chris Gaines? No.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you can't have a Chris Gaines. But you can have Garth.
What the who? What? What is this? What is this here? What happened to the Chris Gaines? Where did he go?
Oh, Mango, come on, man. Don't you see it? The whole movie, the whole album, everything. It was thought up so I could get back here to you.
What?
And we're back. So wait.
Okay, that was a quick one.
So wait, you're telling me Chris Gaines was Garth Brooks?
I didn't understand that. Yeah, why did Chris Gaines take his wig off and suddenly Garth Brooks was there?
I know, the reality of this sketch is all over the place. Because Garth Brooks is the host, Chris Gaines is the musical guest, but then I guess Garth was pretending to be Chris Gaines to get to Mango?
Yeah, and where was Chris Gaines in all this? I don't think he appreciates Garth Brooks impersonating him.
Or being in his dressing room.
I mean, that's the thing. I think the next sketch that we didn't see was Garth Brooks murdered Chris Gaines to take his place.
That would have been hilarious. If right after... So, okay, all joking aside, to sum up what we just watched, Garth Brooks' monologue, Mango...
Do we need to explain Chris Gaines to everybody?
Well, we could get into it, but first the sketch. Garth Brooks comes out, he's like, hey, I'm happy to be hosting the show. Chris Gaines is my musical guest. Mango comes out, and he's like, oh, hey, remember me from 2 years ago? Yeah, it was weird. They show a clip from the previous sketch, which was a little unnecessary.
What are they doing on stage while that clip is playing? Or do they just stand, like, vacant, staring into the middle distance, waiting for their cue?
I was imagining Garth Brooks just staring vacantly at the audience while they showed a clip from an old episode of SNL. But then Mango's like, oh no, I'm here for Chris Gaines, because Mango's got a thing for Chris Gaines. That excites Garth Brooks, because I guess the secret was out that they were the same person by now. I don't know how crafty he was with keeping his mouth shut on that.
Well, I gotta say, the chronology of this relative to the Chris Gaines phenomenon that we all clearly remember, because he mentions the movie, which, if you don't remember, never got made.
No, it was like a week. There was like a week in 1999 where Garth Brooks was like, I'm Chris Gaines now. It's for a movie.
There was a whole album.
Here's an album of unlistenable pop songs. And then the next week
I've been
he's
so
like,
curious to listen to that.
And the next week he's like, oh, that was crazy. You'll never hear from either of us again. And then Garth Brooks and Chris Gaines disappeared forever.
The Chris Gaines album. I've never listened. I don't think I've heard a single song. We got a little snippet of one at the end of this, at the beginning of this.
That's the only one I've heard, is the one he performed on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, he only performed one song?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. But I just, I don't know. I've always wanted to listen to that album just out of morbid curiosity. That, and do you know that Mariah Carey published a punk album?
In a different character, or as Mariah Carey?
Yeah. But nobody knew about it for years. It was in the 90s, and she wanted to make like a kind of a garbagey kind of No Doubt kind of thing, and so it's like a different band, and they kind of pitched her voice like with like I guess whatever passed for autotune back then, and like she has a whole album of like weird punk music. I can't remember what it's called, but if you look up Mariah Carey punk album, you can find it on YouTube.
No, I never.
It's like. And Chris Gaines is like that. It's like, I need to fucking hear that shit.
All right, well, let me open up Google Chrome again.
Don't open up Google Chrome. I don't want to re-record this.
Too late. I've Googled Mariah Carey spunk, and hey, this isn't what I was... Oh, you said punk.
Yes.
All right. And then, so after Chris Gaines performs his little song, we go to Chris Gaines' dressing room, where Chris Gaines comes in, Mango comes in, confesses his love, and then so Garth Brooks removes the wig and says that he did all of this just to be back with Mango. The entire Chris Gaines persona was an elaborate ruse to get to have the Mango one more time.
Which, I mean, because it's a nothing of a sketch. It's just that, and then it's over.
Yeah, it's a skit. It's not a skit.
And it's enough. I mean, because it justifies the enterprise of having Garth Brooks as the host and Chris Gaines as the musical guest. And because all I was thinking through all of this is, I was saying, like, what about cast members that feel like resentful of having to be in a recurring sketch that they hate? Like, I felt bad for Chris Kattan having to like take the Chris Gaines shit even remotely seriously, like it was a thing.
I don't know. I think there had to have been some tongue in cheek in that, like.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, Garth Brooks seems like a guy who has a sense of humor about himself. And for the record, I get it. Like, he was a country guy. He wanted to experiment with pop music. You could have just made a pop album. You didn't have to create a whole fucking character. But for whatever reason, he felt like he needed to. So why not lean into it and have fun with it? I don't begrudge him that. It's a little weird, but not like... I mean, it's not even like... the weirdest thing a fucking pop star's ever done like that,
But it was just weird the way it was done, because, like, in an alternate universe, what would have happened if just, like, one summer, Garth Brooks is starring in a movie as this character Chris Gaines, and then he releases a soundtrack as Chris Gaines? Like, that would be perfectly normal. That would be a normal thing to do. It would be marketing for a film that you have made. But saying, I'm Chris Gaines now... No, he didn't even say that. Because... unless I'm confusing it and misremembering it, it was like Chris Gaines was a different person. Like, for a little bit, it was like, oh no, this is Chris Gaines. It's not Garth Brooks. Like, they were separating from each other. Then I think people were like, well, that's just ridiculous. So then it became, oh, I'm Garth Brooks and I'm making a movie. But that's a backward-ass way of making a movie.
If I remember correctly, I could be wrong about this, but I think it was originally a movie first and an album. But the movie got delayed, so they released the album, and then everybody thought the album sucked, so then they canceled the movie.
Oh, but they didn't make the movie.
No, they never made the movie,
okay, yeah.
But I think the intention was originally to make a movie and then have an album based on the character in the movie, but the movie got delayed for whatever reason, and then when the album came out and flopped, the movie got canceled.
So originally it was intended to come out at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, because that would be the only reasonable way to do this. Just putting on a wig and releasing an album for a movie that you haven't made yet is Juliette Lewis.
Once again, I object strenuously to that becoming a shorthand.
I'm just saying. But yeah, no, like a normal person would make a movie, release a soundtrack, and then be done with it. But yeah, this like fucking killed this man's career. And he was the biggest country star in the world.
You know what's fucking crazy? He still is. We don't know that because we don't pay attention to country music, but he still sells out shows. He's still one of the biggest moneymakers in country music.
That's true. I mean, it didn't hurt his purse strings that much, but you know, you don't hear about Garth Brooks in anything other than, you know, I mean, yeah, he's definitely tours, but so does fucking like Willie Nelson.
But I think he still makes like comparable money. Maybe not to what like the '90s in his heyday, but like I think he makes comparable money to like other country music artists that are more relevant.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying
he probably makes more money than like Florida Georgia Line or something.
Yeah, he's probably doing all right financially, but yeah, no, the relevance thing is what I'm talking about. Like, you know, Garth Brooks.
Well, Chris Gaines is due for a comeback.
Where is that? Why aren't we nostalgic for Chris Gaines more than we are? All right, anything else about Garth Brooks, Chris Gaines, or Mango? Do you want to tap out now? No, let's do one more. Next is Danny DeVito.
You really want to watch the Danny DeVito one? What is after that?
After Danny DeVito, we get Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Christopher Walken, Gwyneth Paltrow, Ellen DeGeneres, and Winona Ryder.
You know, the Ben Affleck one, honestly, does kind of interest me a little
That's bit. The next one. It's not a bad one. I remember the Jennifer Lopez one being terrible. But, okay, well, we can make that decision later.
Is it possible we're going to watch all these Mango sketches?
You never know. How low will we, man, go? Well, we will never find out until we watch the next one. From December 11th, 1999, this was the last episode of Saturday Night Live for the millennium. The last episode of SNL in the millennium. Hosted by Danny DeVito.
Please don't tell me this was the last sketch of that episode.
No.
That the last thing the Millennium saw of SNL was Mango.
No, but it was a good episode. It was all recurring characters, which was like usually not something I like, but you know, Danny DeVito on The Delicious Dish, Danny DeVito hanging out with Sally O'Malley, Danny DeVito hanging out with Mango, like it all worked somehow. And this is the Mango sketch from that episode. Are you ready? Push and play.
Well, things are pretty good for me. I got $23 shoved in my shorts last night, so that was nice.
Could you please pass the stuffing?
Sure, Guava.
Oh, I got the new cop uniform, so I'm looking forward to that.
Your brother just made partner in his new law firm.
Youngest partner in history.
At least I have one son that I'm proud of.
What is going on here?
Who wants dessert?
Mom, where are you going? Back me up! What is this, the ice storm?
Leave your mother out of this!
Leave her out of what? Who, what, where, when, why, what I do, what I did?
Why are you doing this? Why are you stripping? Huh? Oh, you cannot have me. And then I hit my butt. What's this? What's that? What's that? God, what is that?
Well, I have had enough! Good night!
Don't do that, damn it!
Oh, do what? This?
Knock it off!
Well, what are you afraid? Of your own son to love him? Merry Christmas!
Alright, and we're back. Let me wipe away a tear from my face.
Okay. I want to pitch something to you. My concern is it's like in direct violation of the spirit of this format. I want to tap out and keep going at the same time.
You want to do a two-parter?
I'm looking at this thing, and I think we're like about halfway through here, a little bit.
We have 6 more.
I want to stop here on a high note, because I enjoyed that sketch as well. But I want more Mango. I didn't think I'd be here by now, but I want more Mango.
You've been hypnotized by the Mango. I knew it would happen.
I mean, is that abhorrent to you as the inventor of this format?
I mean, we still got the file, so if you want to come back to the rest of these mangoes at a later date, that is completely fine with me.
And I want to say, I want to stress, it doesn't have to be next week. We can do something different next week. But I don't want to lose out on this mango.
Well, I knew from the beginning I thought that would be a good place to end, because I remembered the ending of that mango where the curtain closes and then opens and they all take a final bow, or in this case, a final butt slap.
Including fucking Michael Stipe from REM. Please tell me he wasn't actually the musical guest of that episode.
He was. They were promoting Man on the Moon, so it was Danny DeVito and REM on the same episode.
Oh, that makes sense.
But yeah, so to sum up this sketch, it's Christmas time and Mango's going back to his family. We get a lot of character development from Mango here, I feel, in the 10th installment of the Mango series. So he goes back home, he's having an awkward dinner with his family. His dad, Danny DeVito, his mom, Anna Gasteyer, and his brother, Will Ferrell, all in gold short shorts, but they hate the fact that he's a stripper. Mango is the black sheep of this family. And
I said before that the rival plot would be the plot of the movie. This is the plot of the movie. You just do Stuart saves his family, but with Mango.
Yeah, and I appreciated the absurdity that they're all in gold short shorts. They all have the Mango haircut. But his dad is disappointed with him, specifically for the stripping. And then when Mango tries to hypnotize his own father?
Yeah, I was wondering, was it going to go in a direction of, weird gay incest?
Where else could that have gone? But Danny DeVito's like, you gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop slapping your ass and everything. And then Chris Kattan's like, stop doing what? Stop doing this. And then he does the little hypnotized dance. Danny DeVito almost falls for it, but he breaks the spell. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that would just make his father love him is all he was trying to do in there. But again, Mango knows full well the extent of his powers. You cannot...
Well, that's the thing. It has never been shown to be a platonic friend or familial love. It's always, I want to fuck Mango.
Yeah, no, I doubt that was Mango's intention, because as we've established, he's happily married. He would never cheat on his wife. But
certainly not with his own father.
Certainly not with his own papa. There's no way that could have ended well. Thank God that the Guava must have some kind of powers himself. Well, we do later learn that. So, his powers can somehow counteract Mango's powers.
Yeah, because, we established that two people with the same hypnotic Mango power, Mango and Kiwi,
true.
They don't cancel each other out. They fall in love with each other. So maybe that could have happened here, but no, it did not, thankfully.
Right. And then so Mango goes to his room angrily, and he's visited by the Christmas fairy, played by the most comatose Michael Stipe. A man not known for being very... Well, I guess on stage he is very energetic, but when you see him in interviews, he's a very solemn, quiet, introspective man, and he brings all of that energy to his performance here, which made it
Which
work.
I think was... It was on purpose, and I think it totally made the character.
Oh, it was hilarious. When he comes in and he's like, I'm the Christmas fairy. Here, have some glitter. And then just pulls some glitter out of his little dick pouch. And just, throws it at Mango's face. With, no emotion.
I gotta tell you, I am legitimately impressed with the variation of these sketches. That's the main reason I want to keep continuing with it, is because I want to see where the Mango story goes from here. Because unlike what I would expect from It's Pat or Rich Meister, which I expect them to all be the same, I don't with it. Based on my prior experience, I feel like these could go anywhere.
It does keep you guessing. There's always a little difference here, because the Christmas fairy takes Mango back in time to where we see in black and white his father, again played by Danny DeVito, was the Guava, and he was also a stripper. So that's why the Guava is so angry at his son, because Mango has become what he hated. His own son, his flesh and blood, has turned into what he didn't want to become.
Guava! Who are you? Name's Jimmy Stewart, and I'm in love with you, Guava. I gotta have the Guava.
You have me? No man can have the Guava. Can you have the U-boat over for dinner? Can you win the World War II with just one bomb? Can you say to President Roosevelt, get out of the wheelchair and walk around a little? No. Such is the guava.
But I like to talk to you. So...
Do you know why I do this? I do this so my son will have a better life than me.
So that's why Daddy doesn't want me to strip.
Get out of here! You can't have the guava!
Why? Come on, what?
No, just get out of here, get out of here, and go slice! No!
Oh, Christmas fairy, take me back.
All right, Mango, but just remember, everybody hurts sometime. Come on, let's go shopping.
Okay.
And I want to fill this out, because we've talked about how, like, we genuinely like Chris Kattan. He's in shitty movies a lot, but, like, his performance, his physical performance, he's charismatic.
You're talking to a guy who loved Corky Romano.
Exactly. I did not, but we are a pro Chris Kattan podcast. And I think it's a testament, because I'm assuming he's writing these sketches, right?
Undoubtedly.
I would assume, yeah. And, like, how many times do we complain about SNL sketches that seem half-baked, and they don't even have a fucking ending, and they just sort of fizzle out like a fucking stale fart? Every one of these sketches has had, like, whether or not we appreciated it, they had, like, a full arc. They had, like, a 3-act structure. Like, the Dylan McDermott, it's not just that there's a montage where he becomes Mango. He ascends to a level of hubris where he gets in too deep, like any good detective story, and then has to, snap out of it. And in this one, it has like a whole family arc where like he learns a lesson about his father's history. These are like fully fledged stories in these sketches, and that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I said it before, but I appreciate the epic nature of all of these sketches, even though it's something as stupid as Chris Kattan in Short Shorts. There's an epicness to these. He starts off at Beefcakes, and then we travel to his family home, and then we travel back in time, and then we travel back to the family home, and then there's just a random dog that comes out at the end. Just to make it like a Christmassy, feel-good, happy moment, they just throw in a trained dog. Like, there's a lot that went into this that I can't not respect.
And I know, as I say this, I'm going to regret it because it can't possibly be true. But watching these sketches not only makes me want to watch the rest of them in a 2-part episode. It kind of makes me excited to watch Mr. Peepers. Is it possible that my memory of Mr. Peepers as being awful is actually wrong and they're fucking brilliant?
Well, it's the thing with Chris Kattan characters is that they're all good. I mean, like Mango is a funny character. But Mango is not funny when you see him every single week and you're just expecting Mango. And the same thing with Mr. Peepers. The first time I saw Mr. Peepers, I was like, holy shit, this is the most hilarious thing. And then maybe like 2 or 3 more times. But like the 15th time, you're like, God damn it. And then the same with the Roxbury guys. It's fun for a second. That's all Chris Kattan characters. They start off good. He just runs them into the ground. To the point where it's a punchline in itself.
Because that's what I would say. Ultimately, like you say, 14, 16 sketches, whatever. No recurring character needs that many sketches. Even like the fucking greatest one, I don't like any of them, so I can't really think of one that I would say is the greatest. But maybe like Stuart Smalley, I didn't mind. Speaking of Stuart Saves His Family, but like nobody is gonna be good after 16 sketches. And fucking the Roxbury's got a fucking movie, and it's like the whole movie is them like standing around going, like, why the fuck are we in a movie? Because you didn't need a movie. No Saturday Night Live sketch needs a fucking movie.
No, I completely 100% agree. Which is why we've not done a lot of SNL movies on this podcast devoted to SNL and movies. We have still not watched Superstar.
But after watching 8 of these Mango sketches, I want to see a fucking Mango movie.
Well, I will say, like, if memory serves me right, Mango. But again, I was binge watching SNL, and you get to a point where you're like, another fucking Mango sketch. I remember the Gwyneth Paltrow one being bad, the Ellen DeGeneres one being bad, and the Jennifer Lopez one being bad, and those are like in the last batch that we haven't seen yet. I think the Ben Affleck one's good. I think the Walken one's good. But yeah, when we pick this Mango mantle back up, we're going to get 3 decent Mango sketches and 3 clunkers.
Which, that's probably as good or better a record for these And We're Backs as we've had.
Yeah, and
we rarely hit them out of the park.
You know what? There's no one more surprised than me that we just watched 8 Mango sketches, and I'm coming away positively going, I enjoyed myself.
I mean, I worked all day today, so I'm really just not up for another one, but if I weren't so tired from working, you'd be up for Ben Affleck, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I want to tap out now specifically because we've been talking about Mango for 2 hours. But I could definitely watch another 40 minutes of Mango.
And I did not, I wasn't joking. My stance of fucking Mango started going into this. That was not a joke. I genuinely dreaded this. And now I'm like, oh, I'm enthusiastic for Mango in a way that I never have been before.
Yeah, no, for as much as there is repetitiveness in these sketches, they all have remained a little fresh.
Yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board for Mango Part 2.
All right.
With that, I think we can wrap it up.
All right. So until we see you next time, get off
the shit.